Hi. Hi, everybody coming on. Hi, Stefan. Okay, so this is going to be, hi, Paige, a 30-minute class. You aren't going to need any props. You are going to start on all fours today. Hi. Just if you could send me like a heart or a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. I can't see you, but like a little emoji would be tight. And then finding yourself on all fours. If you need to pad up your mat a little bit, you totally can. Otherwise, find yourself on hands and knees. Go ahead and let yourself untuck the toes. If you get a foot cramp, you can absolutely tuck the toes. And then let your eyes just soften to a close here. I want you to notice where you feel any stress or strain on all fours. And start to make tiny little corrections to relieve yourself of that stress or strain. So for me, I feel it very much so in my neck and shoulders right in this moment. So I'm going to push down a little deeper through the heel of my hands. Wrap my biceps slightly forward. Lengthen out through the crown of my head, imagining that my spine is now pressing up towards the ceiling. Think about drawing your front two ribs a little bit closer together, and then take a nice big breath into the side of your body. As you exhale, push a little deeper into the pinky side of the palm, as if you could rip the mat apart. Feeling the outer parts of your shoulder kick on, you'll take a big breath in. On your next exhale, start to tuck your tail between your legs, feeling your pubic bone tilt towards your belly button. As you feel your low abs crease and kick on, start to round the nose to navel, dropping the crown of the head. Pause here. Can you flatten your hip bones towards your armpits a little more? Let your head hang a little heavier towards the mat. And then just as slow as you found your flexion, start to widen your sits bones. Feel your belly button lengthen up towards your chin. And shine your chest forward, getting that big opening. Try not to strain your head up towards the sky. Think of a long neck. And then draw the navel and tuck the tail round the head towards the floor. So you're finding a cat-cow, yeah. But I want you to let it be super articulated, really feeling the muscles through each part of the movement. You can start to add a little bit of mobility forward and back. So the next time you round your nose to navel, can you shift some weight into your hands, feeling your hips flatten slightly towards the floor. And then as you widen your sits bones, shine your chest forward, start to push your butt back towards your heels. Scoop through the low belly, drop the crown of the head, shift slightly forward, shoulders over middle fingers, feeling your triceps kick on. And then widen the sits bones, pushing back, finding a little stretch through the hips and the side body. Start to think of yourself as a little bit more mobile with each rep. If you're clenching in your jaw, let your lips part. Maybe find an audible sigh out as you exhale. Letting your eyebrows soften. Take two more. Good. Becoming a little slinky on this last one. You're going to roll forward. Find yourself out into your kneeling plank. So I'm going to walk my hands a little farther forward, tuck my hips slightly towards the floor. Pause in this position, let your gaze slide towards the front edge of the mat, press down and wide through the pinky side of the palms. Can you tuck your tail a little bit more, feeling your rib cage lift slightly up towards the sky? And then nice and slow, start to bend the elbows in towards your hip bones as you lower your belly down into the mat. Everything is heavy. Let your hips shift a little side to side. And then nice and slow, you are going to tuck your toes. Hands come a little bit wider than your shoulders. You can keep your knees down for this if you need. Otherwise, slowly push into the palms and arrive into your high plank position. Take a breath in your high plank position, all of that effort to bring you here. Can you lengthen out through the crown of the head, flex the heels, pull your belly button in and up, and just take one big deep breath in. And one heavy exhale out. As you find that connection, pike your hips up towards the sky. Find your downward dog. You can play around with where your feet live on the mat. You can start to pedal out the thighs a little bit. Really wrap your ribs open to one side. Let the head be heavy off of your spine. Let the muscles in your face melt. Breathe a little bit and start to make connections to the sensations that you're finding. That brain-bod connections happen from you checking in. Like, what am I feeling right now? A cramp in my pinky toe. Love that. Good. From here, you're going to slowly pull your knees in, finding a soft bend. Arrive back to hands and knees. Untuck your toes. Walk your hands beneath the shoulders and just go for a stretchy cat-cow. Honestly, whatever version feels best. If you want to just sink back into a child's pose, you absolutely can. Giving your jaw a little side-to-side sway. Rolling your shoulders up and back. And then pushing yourself back onto your heels. Nose rounds to navel. Arrive to seated on your butt. Give those shoulders a little roll. Shake out those wrists. And then flip so your butt is in the center of your mat. Feet are on the edge. Take a second once you're here. Find that your heels are planted on the floor. If your toes have to come up because of tight ankles, no big deal. Hands are going to find underneath your kneecaps. Okay, if you'd rather hold on to top, you totally can. Roll those shoulders up and back again, and then close your eyes, bringing yourself back against an invisible wall. Notice if you're finding a tuck of your tailbone, if you feel super tight in that low back, see if you can use the pressure of the hands into the thighs to lift and grow a little taller. Take a nice big breath in and then slowly start to articulate, scooping your tail between your legs just like you did on all fours, lengthening your arms to straight. Pause. You're going to hover your hands off of your thighs, just keeping this little C curve. So from the crown of my head all the way down to my tailbone is this scooped up C. Take a breath in, slowly curl yourself right back up to seated. Hands can find the back of the thighs. Take a little lift of your chest, maybe even a little extension. Grow tall, tuck the pelvis, roll back. We're going to do a lot of articulation today, mostly because my body needs it. We've been open at the studio, so I've been working on my feet more than I have in over a year. So I'm feeling a little wrecked, but in the best way ever. So you're now just doing your cat-cow seated, starting to engage a little bit more through that abdominal wall, especially because you're working against gravity. If you're holding tension in the chest, in the neck, go a little smaller with your range of motion. Last 3. Beautiful. Maybe you roll back a couple extra inches. Challenge yourself to go even slower as you come back to seated. For 2. Good. Can you keep your chin off of chest? Remember that your head moves with that spine. Last one. We're going to roll back to that halfway point and pause. Hands are reaching slightly above the knees. I go palms face up. Do whatever feels best. You're going to reach your right arm as close up towards the ceiling as you can, making sure your head didn't jet forward. Slowly lower that arm back down. Left arm will rise. Right fingertips reaching forward. Slowly lower that arm back down. If you feel your low back or lose the tuck of your pelvis, curl yourself up just a little bit higher. We go for 4, giving your head a shake at any point if you feel like you're taking tension. Last 3, are you still breathing? 2 more. Ooh, it burns. Last one is your right arm lifts, hold. You're taking little pulses up, trying to touch the ceiling with your middle finger on that right hand, keeping everything else super square for 3, for 2. Last one, just switch the arms. We take 10 little pulses up. Good. Last 5. As for 3, we lay ourselves down in 2. Last one, reach the arm forward. Lay yourself into that mat. Extend your arms all the way back overhead. Let your legs drape long. Give them a little roll side to side. Let your head start to get nice and heavy, even taking a little shake. No. Little shake, yes. You're going to let your arms relax down by your sides. Plant your feet, knees up towards the ceiling. You've warmed up your abs. You've warmed up your articulation. We turn it into a bridge. So with the tip of your nose hanging straight up towards the sky, you're going to slowly start to draw your navel in towards your waist. I always think of my belly button kind of pulling into my bottom ribs, trying to lengthen my low back, but leave my glutes turned off. And then relax my pelvis back to neutral. Just let it drop into its natural setting where your low back creates that curve again. Bringing yourself back to a tiny range of motion, you are just tucking your pelvis on an exhale and releasing on an inhale. Trying to unclench in the hips and the glutes and the neck. For 2. The next time that you feel that tuck, pubic bone towards sky, hands relax down by your sides. Start to press evenly through the bottoms of your feet and peel your hips up 2 inches. Pause with your hips lifted slightly. I want you to think of a tennis ball between your knees. Squeeze that tennis ball. And then imagine someone's hands pulling your kneecaps over your second and third toe. Now check in that your rib cage is still nice and glued to the mat. Head is relaxed. Squeeze your butt cheeks a little bit tighter and then slowly roll yourself right back down into the mat. Relax into neutral. Feel the hip creases form. Let everything turn soft. And then as you exhale, deepen your engagement through the low abs first, then press into your full footprint as you peel your hips up, maybe this time a little higher. Pause at your halfway point. Can you tuck your tail between your legs a little more? Squeeze that invisible tennis ball. Press into your heels a little heavier. And then nice and slow, keep reaching your knees over your toes as you melt that spine down. If bridging just feels bad in your low back, you are focusing on tucking your pelvis and just squeezing your butt. The bridge doesn't actually mean that your butt has to lift off the mat. You just want to try and engage right at the crease where your hammy meets your tush. Good. If you're feeling your shoulders hover off the mat, I want you to think of flipping your palms to face the sky or even sending your fingertips towards the ceiling, focusing on keeping the backs of the shoulders heavy in your mat. You're going to start to articulate into your full bridge. Now that can be the same exact bridge you've been doing for these last few reps, or that can be you peeling up just a little bit higher. Hips are always higher than your rib cage. You are not finding a rainbow shape of your spine here. Go for 2 more. Nice. The next time that we find that bridge, one that we can maintain, again, not necessarily super high, but just something that feels like a connection, you're going to reach your arms to the sky if you haven't already. Take a breath in. Right arm is going to reach up by the ear. Everything else stays the same. Right arm is going to press right back up towards the ceiling. Left arm lengthens back overhead. Everything else stays the same. Left arm reaches right back up towards the sky. I have all 10 fingers spread wide, so I feel like I'm sliding my hand against a wall in both directions, creating a little resistance for my arms and shoulders. Notice if you're losing connection to your heels. Can you press your feet a little heavier into the floor? Tip your pubic bone up to the sky just a little bit more. We're going to make this a tiny bit harder, so the next time that your left arm reaches overhead, pause. Can you lift just the right heel? All 10 toes are still grounded. That heel lowers as you press the fingertips to the sky. Right fingertips back, left heel lifts, pause. Lower the heel, press the fingertips to the sky. Create this X. So opposite hand to opposite heel. For 4. Can you slow it down however fast you're going? Take it a notch below. For 3. Remember, your head is grounded, neck is soft. Tuck your tail even more, lengthen your knees forward even more for 2. The next time that your right hand reaches over, left heel lifts, let it be the last rep. Both arms to the sky, both heels heavy, melt your spine all the way down. Relax into neutral at the bottom. Bring your hands beneath your head, elbows nice and wide. Take a moment here. You're going to draw the tips of your elbows forward and find your upper ab curl. Pause in your upper ab curl. Lift your right heel only. Lower your right heel, lower your head. Nod and curl. Left heel lifts. All 10 toes are grounded. Pelvis is square. Heel lowers, head taps the mat. If this feels solid, that heel lift is going to turn into a leg floating into tabletop. So the next time you curl, maybe you meet your right leg in tabletop. Remember that you have just hinged at the hip. You have not hiked that hip to meet you. Foot stamps to the floor as head taps the mat. Curl up, left leg is in tabletop. If lifting your leg off the floor does not feel good in your body today, you guys, just continue with that heel lift. Focus on staying grounded, but making that deeper connection to your abs. It doesn't always have to be the hardest progression to get the most work. For real, for real. Last 4. So good. For 3, can you try and challenge yourself to feel a little bit more connection as you lower your head in space? For 2. The next time you curl up, meet your right leg in tabletop or right heel is lifted, hold. You're taking 10 pulses up through center. Chest is lifting towards the pubic bone. Left heel is pressing a little heavier into the mat for support. Resist the urge to let your right knee come closer towards you for 3, 2. Hold your curl on 1. Step that right foot down or lower the heel. Left heel lifts or left leg lifts. Pause. 10 pulses. Nice and slow. Are the tips of your elbows still reaching to the ceiling instead of wide to the sides of the room? Last 4, 3, 2. Last one. Lower your head in space. Lower the foot. Hands sweep wide. They rest by your hips. Continuing into that bridge, you're going to tuck your pelvis, peel your hips up towards the sky. Pause here. You're going to press those palms down into the mat. You're going to lift your right heel and maybe float the leg into tabletop. Pausing here. You're going to hinge from the hip, tap that foot back down. Press into your right foot, float your left leg into tabletop. Pause, connect to your right glute, hinge from the hip, step that foot back down. Hands can touch the hip bones if that feels helpful so your pelvis doesn't shift side to side. We did that little bit of ab work right in between your last bridge and this bridge to remind yourself that your abs are very much so a part of your bridging. If you feel like $1,000,000, arms are to the sky. The next time that you find your left leg in tabletop, maybe your right arm lengthens back overhead. Foot steps down, arm reaches to the sky, right leg lifts, left arm lengthens back overhead. These are always options. Hands can stay firmly planted. You can continue with just a heel lift if that feels better for your lower half. Can you check back in that you are still investing through the low abdominals, that your head is still relaxed, and that you are really feeling that single leg work? 2 more. The next time that your right leg is lifted in space, left arm is back by your ear, pause. Pulsing your hips up towards the sky for 10. Maybe you even straighten your right leg to the ceiling. Think inner thighs are still squeezing that tennis ball, ribs are connecting into the mat. Hands are actively reaching apart for 4, 3, 2. Last one, bend the knee first, press the arm to the sky, lower the foot, lift the hips, make a connection. Left leg floats to tabletop, right arm back, pause. Maybe you straighten that left leg, 10 pulses. Arms are actively reaching apart, rib cage narrows, right knee lengthens forward, squeeze the inner thighs slightly, feel that right under butt for 5, for 4, for 3, last 2. Last one, bend the knee, replace the foot, reach the arm to the sky. 10 final pulses with both heels heavy or both heels lifted for that ultimate challenge. Take your time. This is not from your low back, it's from your low butt. Squeeze that invisible tennis ball, widen your shoulders so they're heavy in the mat for 4. We melt it down in 3. Ooh, calf cramp. Last 2. Final 1. Drop the heels, melt your spine all the way down. Hands find the back of your head. Find a little bit on your back. Elbows are wide. Give your butt a little wiggle. Tip those elbows forward. Nod and curl. We're going to stay in this ab curl. You can always bring your head back down if you need. Right leg floats up. Left leg floats up. Pause, making sure you aren't pulling in and up from your low spine. Can you draw your navel into your ribs a little bit? Let your head weigh a little heavier into your hands. Right foot is going to dip down as you twist to the left. Pull that knee back up. Find yourself to center. Twist to the right as your left foot stamps down. Start to simultaneously or continuously move from side to side. Every time your nose passes your belly button, your legs are in tabletop together. And every time you twist to one side, the opposite foot is stepping down to the mat. If this feels solid, it turns into your single leg stretch. So your little bicycle, as you twist to the left, right leg extends long. You meet both legs in tabletop before switching to the other side. Do not speed up as it gets harder. Challenge yourself to go slower as you find that burn. Again, no rush. Hot tea placed on your belly button would not move. That's a lie, but that's what you're thinking. For 6. Good, not letting your elbows lead the way, but feeling that deep rotation from just beneath the rib cage for 5. Can your head press back into your palms for 4. Last 3. Almost there. For 2. The next time you twist to the left, we pause. Flex your right foot 10 pulses towards that left thigh. Frame the left thigh with the tips of your elbows. Try not to rush it for 4. 3. Last 2. Final 1. Twist to center. Don't lose it. You just have that other side. Twist to the right. 10 pulses. Tips of the elbows. Frame your right thigh. Left foot is flexed. Don't let that right elbow sink for 5. 4. 3. Last 2. Last 1. Find center. 10 pulses to center. You can send your legs long and low for that ultimate little low ab challenge for 5. Power through for 4. Breathe for 3. Don't let your head lift out of your hands for 2. Last 1. Pull the knees into your chest. Whew. That's some ab work, eh? Give your thighs a few rolls inside of the hip sockets. Oh my goodness. Just relax for a breath as I check the time. Gorgeous. Once you find yourself kind of rocking a little side to side, just giving your low back a tiny little massage. We're going to go ahead and extend our legs nice and long. Let our arms reach all the way back overhead, giving our hips a little wiggle. You'll sweep the arms wide if you have the space, or bend the elbows wide if you have the space. Reach the fingertips to toes. Take a breath in. On your exhale, nod and curl yourself all the way up and over those feet, finding that forward fold. Ooh, if you can grab the bottoms of your feet, grab them. If you can't, grab your shins and take a little pedal out into your hands. So as you point a foot into your palm, twist in the opposite direction. Getting this mild little low back twist, a little extra hammy stretch. Never a bad thing. 1 or 2 more. Last 1. You're going to flip onto all fours, finding yourself in your starting position. I'm here. We're here. Okay. So finding yourself on all fours one last time. Go in and take a couple cat-cows. Shifting your chest slightly forward as you round and sinking your hips back as you extend. For 2. Good. The next time you find a nice neutral position of your spine, you're going to step your right foot back and then your left foot back, finding yourself in your plank. Widen your stance slightly here. You're going to pike your hips up towards the sky. Take your left hand and reach for the outside of your right ankle. Take a deep twist of your ribs to the right side. And then slowly bring that left hand down. Lift your hips, round your nose to navel, articulate out into your high plank. Pause in that full plank position. Take an inhale. On your exhale, hips to the sky. Right ankle, right hand to that left ankle. Take a deep twist to the left. Right hand down. Lift both heels. Roll the nose to navel. Fold out into your high plank. We go for 2 more each side. There is no rush. Trying to really feel that twist from under the rib cage. As you arrive into that full plank, really try and articulate fully through the spine. 3 more. Good. Try not to speed through. Just know it's your last little bit of hard work. Last 2. Give me 1 more to the left. Good. You're going to find yourself in your high plank and just hold. Breathe into it for 5. Flex your heels, shine your chest forward, find the power in your breath for 3. We're going to bend our elbows, lower ourselves down in 2. Last one, bend those elbows, lower it all the way down into the mat. Woo, untuck your toes, push yourself up and back into your child's pose. Knees are wide, head is heavy. Take a second here just to breathe into this release for your low back. Try and let the forehead be heavy into the mat. Taking one more breath in and out. And then nice and slow, sit back onto your heels. Let your head hang between your knees. And slowly restack that spine bone by bone at the top. Let your fingertips reach up towards the sky. And then all the way back behind you for one big arm circle. Woo, it's toasty. That's it for today. Happy Tuesday. If you have questions about anything, about Pilates, about the studio, please let me know. If not, have a great, beautiful evening. Bye.